Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome if you are new. In today's video we're going to be making a start on a new colour along, and I've picked Johanna Basford's new book Rooms of Wonder, and the page that I've picked out is this page here with these little tiny pictures, so I thought we could do maybe a couple of these each video. So the pencils I'm going to be using is the Arteza 120 set. The paper's quite smooth, so I'm hoping these are going to work well on here. So I'll go ahead and zoom you in and we'll get started. Okay, so the first colour that I'm going to go in with is UBE purple, because I want to make this hat like a nice purple colour. So I'm going to go ahead and use light pressure and add a base coat down to the hat. So I'm going to avoid the stars, but I'm going to go ahead and fill in all of the hat itself. So I'll just use light pressure and go ahead and fill this in. So you guys will have to let me know if you've got your book already, if you've already started colouring, which pages you're enjoying, and also if there's any pages in here that you want us to do as a colour along, let me know in the comments down below. So next, going in with royal purple, we're going to use this as our shade colour. So the first place that I'm going to add some shade is here, just underneath the little belt. So I'm just going to use normal pressure right up against the underneath of this belt. And then I'm going to use this to go over the little crease details that she's drawn in and just exaggerate them a little bit more. We'll go ahead and use this colour to fill in the underneath section. So I'm going to use normal pressure and go ahead and fill this in. Okay, and I'm going to add some shadow here where we've got this crease. And again here on this crease line, just to accentuate it and make it stand out a little bit better. And then I'm going to add some shadow down here around the top of the belt. So again, I'm just using normal pressure for this. I'm going to go ahead and fill in this section here behind the feather darker, because this would be in shadow. So I'll just use normal pressure, fill that bit in, and then we'll add some shadow along this edge here. Okay, and now I'm going to lift the pressure off so that we can blend this colour out a little bit easier. And I'll do the same down here. And along this edge at the bottom. And we'll just blur out these little crease lines a little bit as well. So just use light pressure and add a little bit of darker colour around them. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill in the very edge here, because this would be darker. And then just lift the pressure as you come to this part here where it starts to bend. Okay, so going back in with UBE, I'm going to go over where I left the lighter colour of the darker purple and just start to blend this out. So I'm just going to use normal pressure when I go over the blend lines. I'll do the same down here. So take it over where we left the lighter pressure and then just bring the colour slightly further down. And now I'm just going to use really light pressure and add a little bit more colour onto here so that it blends out a little bit easier. Next, going in with our white pencil, what I'm going to do is go over where we left the lighter pressure purple and blend that all together. So I'll just use normal pressure for this and just go ahead and mix all of these colours. And then going back in with royal purple, our darkest colour, I'm just going to go ahead and go over our little creases again, just to make them stand out. Next, going in with fuchsia 404, we're going to make a start on the belt. So I'm going to go ahead and do a light base coat on these little side sections here and inside of the buckle. And this side too. And then I'm going to go ahead and use this to fill in the rim of the hat. So I'll just use normal pressure, fill that in. Next, using eggplant purple, we're going to add some shade to our pink sections. So I'm going to use the lines that Johanna's drawn in as a little bit of a guide. So I'm going to darken up each edge, just using normal pressure. And then I'm going to lift the pressure as it comes into the middle so that we'll be left with the lighter pink in the middle. And I'll go ahead and do the same over here. And then inside of the buckle, I'm going to darken up along the right hand side and the bottom edge, and then just lift the pressure as you come over. So now going back in with fuchsia, I'm going to go ahead and fill that in. Okay, and our shadow's not quite dark enough, so I'm going to try royal purple on top and see if this makes it a little bit darker. Yeah, that's better. So I'm just going to go over where we added the shadow in with this royal purple, just to darken it up a little bit more. And then I'm just going to go back in with fuchsia and blend that together. Okay, going back in with royal purple, I'm going to add just a little bit of shade to the edges of this little rim that we've got here. Next, going in with jasmine yellow, I'm going to go ahead and fill in these little stars on the hat so that they're a nice light yellow colour. Then taking steel grey, I'm going to add a little bit of shadow to these stars. So I'm just going to add a little bit of grey to the bottom edges. So I'll just sort of fill in the last little 2 or 3 bits of the star. Then going back in with fuchsia, I'm going to do a base coat on our little feather here, because I want this to match the belt. Then going in with royal purple, we'll add some shadow details. So I'm going to fill in the stem and darken up the little lines that are on the feather. Then going back in with fuchsia, I'm going to go ahead and fill this in. So I'm just going to use normal pressure now. Next, taking peacock blue, we're going to make a start on this cloud in the background. So I'm going to use this and add in a base coat. So I'm just going to do light pressure and go ahead and fill this in. Then taking sapphire blue 505, we're going to add a bit of this darker blue colour in too. So I'm just going to sort of randomly place it where I want it to be. So I'm going to use normal pressure here up against the hat. And then start to lift the pressure as you come away. And we'll add some on this side as well. So normal pressure up against the hat. And then again, just start to lift the pressure as you come away. We'll add a little bit over here. So I'll just do a bit more pressure down here. And then again, lift the pressure to blend that out. And I think we'll add a little bit down here as well. And then lift the pressure. Next, I'm going to go in with UBE purple, add a little bit of purple to this cloud. So I'm going to add some up here on this top edge. And then again, lift the pressure as you come down into the blues. And we'll add a little bit here too. So normal pressure, take it over the darker blue. And then lift the pressure as you come towards the edge. So then going back in with peacock blue, I'm going to go ahead and fill this in completely. So I'm taking it right up to the purple, but not going over it because I don't want to lose all of the little bit of purple that we put in. Next, going in with a gold gel pen, I'm just going to go ahead and fill in the little belt buckle so that we've got a nice gold sparkly belt buckle. Okay guys, so that's how that one's looking so far. So I'm going to move on to the next one. And I think we'll go ahead and do this one next with a little moon and stars in. Okay, so the first colour that I'm going to go in with is cream. And I'm going to go ahead and fill in the moon. So I'm just going to use normal pressure and fill this in. So I want this to be quite light. And we'll fill in the little stars with this as well. Then going back in with steel grey, we'll add a bit of shadow. So I'm just going to add a little bit of this grey colour just to this bottom corner here, and then I'm going to bring it up and around the right hand side. Okay, so for inside, I'm going to try and make it look a bit like a galaxy effect. So I'm going to go in with ultramarine blue. This is going to be our darkest colour. So I'm going to go ahead and place this where I want it to be. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do it all along this side of the moon. So I'm just using light pressure with this. It's quite a dark colour. And then I'm just going to start to pull the colour out. And I think we'll like take it over to this edge here. And then we'll add a little bit over here and a little bit down here, and maybe some over here too. So that's our blue sections put in. Next, going in with amethyst purple, which is quite a dark purple colour. We're going to add some dark purple in as well. So what I'll do is the same thing, just do light pressure so we can see where we want the colours to be before we go ahead and burnish it into the paper. So I'm taking it over the dark blue as well. And then just sort of filling in where I want this to be. So I think we'll use that all up this corner here. Then we'll add a little bit there. And a bit in the middle here too. I'll do a little bit up here. Okay. Then I'm going to use Orchid Purple 407. It's a bit more of a pinky purple. And again, I'm just going to use light pressure and go ahead and fill in the last little bits that we've got left with this colour. Okay, and I'm quite liking how that's looking, so I'm going to go ahead and darken up the Orchid Purple first. So I'm just going to do normal pressure in the centre, and then again lift the pressure as you come over the other colours, just so that it gives it a bit more chance to blend. So next, going back in with Amethyst Purple, I'm going to go ahead and darken up the purple sections that we did. So again, I'll just use normal pressure in the centre and then lift the pressure off when you come to blend into the other colour. Okay, and I'm just going to go back in with Orchid Purple and go ahead and go over all that blend again, just to make sure that this is nicely blended. So I'm just using normal pressure for this, just taking it over where we mix the purple in. Okay, and then lastly I'm going to go back in with Ultramarine Blue and go ahead and darken up our blue sections. So again, I'm going to use really light pressure when I go over the purple and the pink. And then where we've just got the blue on its own, I can use a bit more pressure and darken that up. Then taking Jasmine Yellow, I'm going to go ahead and add like a glow coming from around this. So I'm just going to use light pressure and go ahead and add this colour all the way around the edge of the globe. And then going in with the cream, I'm going to go ahead and use that just to really blend out these edges. So I'm just going to use normal pressure with the cream. Okay, next going in with camel brown, we're going to make a start on the little chair that it's sat on. So I'm going to use light pressure and fill this in. Then going in with raw sienna, we're going to add some shade. So I'm going to darken up under here. And just where the leg joins. Then going back in with our cream pencil, we're going to go ahead and blend that out so that it stays light. Then going back in with ultramarine blue, I'm going to go ahead and fill in some of these little sections here because I want this to match the globe. So I think we'll do the bigger sections. And then I'm going to use orchid purple to fill in the smaller ones. Next, taking turquoise, I'm going to make a start on our little rug because I thought that would look nice, like a turquoisey colour. So I'm going to focus this on this back section of the rug. So I'm just going to use normal pressure and go ahead and fill this in so that it's nice and bright. Then taking flamingo pink, I'm going to go ahead and fill in this big section here on the rug. So again, I'll just use normal pressure and fill this in. And I'm going to use this to fill in these edge pieces as well. Then taking plum purple, I'm going to add a little bit of shadow just under where these little feet land on the mat. Just so it looks like it's casting a bit of a shadow down. Next, going in with our Posca pen, we're going to go ahead and add some details to this. So I'm going to go ahead and outline the moon. And then I'm going to add in some little dots to make it look a bit more like a galaxy, and some little stars. We'll do a little shooting star there. And then I'm going to go over these lines to make it look more like a glow. Okay guys, so that's how it's looking so far. So I think we'll go ahead and do another one. Shall we do the mushrooms? Let's do the mushrooms next. So going in with turquoise, we're going to make a start on these mushrooms because I thought at least then it would match a little bit with the mat that we did below. So I think I'm going to do the dots in this colour. So I'm just going to go ahead and use normal pressure and fill these in. So far these pencils are working really nicely on this paper, so that's always a good thing. And as we do some more pages, I'll test out some different pencils as well and see how they work. But I thought I'd do the artezas for our first colour along because I know a lot of you guys have got these pencils. So you'll have to let me know if there's any pencils that you want me to use next, if there's any that you guys have got that we want to use for a colour along. Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, next going in with peony pink, we're going to make a start on the actual mushroom itself. So I'm going to go ahead and use light pressure and do a base coat on the rest of the top of the mushroom. Then going in with fruit punch, we're going to add some shade to these. So for this one here, I'm going to add some shade underneath here where this other mushroom would be casting a shadow. So I'll just use normal pressure there and then lift the pressure as you come away. We'll add some over here too. And then lift the pressure as you come up the mushroom. Do a little bit of shade here. And again, lift the pressure. And then for this one, I'm going to add the shade on this side. So just more pressure right against the edge. And then lift the pressure as you come over. Then taking pink macaron, I'm going to go ahead and see how this works. So I'm just going to use normal pressure and take it over where we left the lighter pressure just to blend it all together. And I'm going to go ahead and fill in the rest of the mushroom with this colour so it's nice and light pink. And then we can really see our shade colour that we've put in. So I'll do the same for this one. So I'm just going to use normal pressure and go ahead and fill in all the pink section. Then taking fuchsia, which is an even darker pink, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the underneath of the mushroom so that this is even darker. So I'll just use normal pressure for this and fill this in. Then taking royal purple, I'm just going to add a really dark little bit right underneath where the mushroom joins. So I'm just using normal pressure and just taking this right up against the very top edge. And we'll do the same for this one. Then going back in with turquoise, I'm going to go ahead and do a base coat on the stems or the stalks. So I'll just use light pressure for this bit. Then taking deep teal, I'm going to add some shade to this. So I'm going to darken up the top where it meets the mushroom. So I'll just use normal pressure up there. And then lift the pressure to blend that out. And lift the pressure on this one too. And then this one will add a little bit of shade under this little joining part. And then again, lift the pressure as you come down. And then we'll add a little bit of shadow just to this bottom corner here. And the very bottom of this one. Then going in with our white pencil, I'm going to go ahead and blend that down. Next, going in with UBE purple, we're going to make a start on some of these littler mushrooms. So I think we'll do this one here in the UBE purple. So I'm just going to use light pressure and go ahead and do a base coat on him. And we'll do this little one here in purple too. I'm going to go in with ultramarine blue, which is the dark blue that we used, and the sphere below. and go ahead and fill in his little spots in really dark blue, and the same for this one. Then taking royal purple, we're going to add some shading. So again, I'm going to run the shade up the right hand side, so I'm going to use normal pressure down the right hand side and along the bottom, and then I'm going to start to lift the pressure as we come away to blend that out easier. And then for this little one, we'll do the same. So we'll darken up the right hand side. And then again, just lift the pressure. I'm going to go back in with UBE and just add a little bit more colour over the blend. And then very light pressure on the other side. Do the same for this one. Then going back in with our white pencil, we're going to go ahead and blend this out, smooth it all over, and try and avoid the blue because it will pull into the purple. Then going back in with ultramarine blue, I'm going to add some to the top of each stalk, so just use normal pressure right at the top, and then lift the pressure as you come down. And I'm going to leave the little bit at the bottom white, and then going back in with our white pencil, I'm going to go ahead and drag that colour down so it'll get lighter as it comes to the bottom. Next, going in with Orchid Purple 407, we're going to make a start on this little mushroom here. So I'm going to go ahead and do a nice little base coat on this one. So just light pressure for that. I think we'll do this one the same. So I'll do light pressure on this one. And this one over here. Next, going in with Amethyst Purple, I'm going to add some shade. So for this little one here, I'm going to darken up this side here where it's going to be in shadow from this mushroom. And then I'm just going to lift the pressure as we come over. This one will add some shade on this edge here from this big mushroom in front. And then again, just lift the pressure as you come over. And then for this one, we'll add some shade to this top edge along here from the mushroom above. And then again, lift the pressure as you come over. Okay, so going back in with Orchid Purple, I'm going to go ahead and fill these in and go over the purple and blend everything together nicely. And then taking Amethyst Purple, I'm going to go ahead and fill in this little stem here and this one. And then here we'll fill in the underneath of the mushroom, so it's nice and dark. And go ahead and fill in the little stem. Then going back in with our Posca pen, we're going to add some highlights. So I'm going to add a highlight along this edge here, and I'm going to take it over the dot as well, so it looks like the light's catching. And then we'll do one on this top edge here for this one. For these little ones, I'm going to go ahead and fill in their little dots with the white Posca. Just add a couple more as well while I'm there. We'll add a little highlight here to this one. Go ahead and fill in the dots on this one. and add a few more, and then we'll fill in the dots on this one. And just add a couple more tiny little ones. We'll add a little highlight down there, and a little one there, and a little one there. Okay, so I think we'll do this one and then we'll wrap up today's video. So I'll go ahead and zoom you in for this one. So the first colour I'm going to go in with is Jasmine Yellow, and I'm going to make a start on these little glows from the candle. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in the flame, and then I'm just going to take it around the top area of the flame. So I'm just using light pressure for this. So you want a bit more pressure on the flame, and then lift the pressure as you come away, just to give it that like illusion that it is glowing. Do the same for this one. Then going in with our cream pencil, we're going to go ahead and again just use light pressure, but take this shine a little bit further. And we've kind of got like a pink and purple theme going on for these ones, so I'm going to stick to the same sort of colours for these so that it all matches. First, going in with Peacock Blue, we're going to make a start on this big candle here. So I'm going to use light pressure and go ahead and add a base coat to this candle. Then taking Ultramarine Blue, we're going to add some shading. So I'm going to start by shading underneath the wax strips so that this is a little bit darker. Just makes it look like it's a bit of a shadow from where the wax is dripping down. And we'll go ahead and add a little bit of shade into these corners. So I'm just using light pressure for this. And I'm going to darken up the very corner bit, so just a bit more pressure at the very bottom corner. Then going back in with Peacock Blue, I'm going to go ahead, add a little bit more colour to this. So I'm still only using light pressure, but I'm just adding a bit more colour down. And then going in with our white pencil, I'm going to go ahead and blend this together. Then going back in with Peacock Blue for the drips, I'm going to darken up the bottom bits. So I'm going to use normal pressure on these bits that come down the candle, just to make them really stand out. And then I'll use light pressure on the top. And then going back in with our white pencil, I'm just going to make that a little bit lighter right on the top edge. Okay, next going in with fuchsia, we're going to do this candle. So I'm going to do the same and do a nice light base coat on the candle itself. Then taking royal purple, we're going to add some shade in. So I'll do the same thing, so shade underneath the drips. And we'll add some shade down here at the bottom. And then I'm just going to lift the pressure to blend this one out a little bit easier. So I'll go back in with fuchsia and go ahead and use normal pressure and blend this all together nicely. And then we'll use this to fill in the top section of the candle as well as the little drips. Okay, so we've got a blue, a purple, and then I think this one, well, we've got a blue, a pink, and then I think we should do this one all purple. So I'll go in with UBE Purple. and do a base coat on the candle. So again, just light pressure for that. Then going in with amethyst purple, we'll go ahead and add our shadow in underneath the wax strips. So I've just used normal pressure there, and we'll add some to the bottom. And then I'm going to lift the pressure as it comes up the candle, and lift the pressure there to bring that down. Then going back in with our white pencil, I'm going to blend them two together. And then I'll use a UBE to go ahead and fill in the top drips. Okay, and I like how they're coming out, so I'm going to use the same colours but different to do the bottom vases that the candles are sat in. So I'll go ahead and do a base coat of UBE purple on this one. So just light pressure for that. And then taking amethyst purple, we'll add some shade in. So I'm going to shade here where the candle's sitting, because that would cast a bit of a shadow. So just normal pressure, and then I'm going to lift the pressure off so that comes down to blend that out. And then for the bottom section, we'll add a shadow where it's sitting on the table. And then again, I'm going to lift the pressure to bring that colour up. I think I'm going to take this all the way along the top edge as well, actually, so that the top and bottom is a bit darker. Then going back in with our white pencil, I'm going to go ahead and blend that together. And I'm just going to go back in with amethyst purple and just darken up the top section a little bit more, and the bottom. And then I'll just run the white back through the middle again. So going back in with peacock blue, we're going to do this one in peacock blue. So I'm going to do a light base coat on here. And then taking ultramarine blue, we're going to add our shadow in. So for this one, I'm going to shade here and here with normal pressure, and then lift the pressure as you come in towards the middle. And then we'll darken up this edge and this edge, and then again lift the pressure as you come towards the middle. We'll add a little bit of shade to both sides on the top one as well, and lift the pressure as you come towards the middle. And then we'll add a little bit of shade to the top and the bottom of the handle. Then going back in with our white pencil, we'll go ahead and blend that together. Okay, so going back in with fuchsia, we're going to go ahead and do a base coat on this one so that it matches our middle candle. And then going in with royal purple, we'll add some shade in. So for this middle section, I'm going to darken up the edges and then just bring the shadow to where the lines are that Johanna's already drawn in. So just lift the pressure as you start to follow them lines out. And we'll do the same here, darken up either edge. And the same for this top piece. Then going back in with orchid purple, I'm going to go ahead and use normal pressure and fill this in. Take it over the darker purple as well. Next, going in with orange, I'm just going to add a little bit of orange right to the centre of these flames, just to brighten that up ever so slightly. And I've only used light pressure, and as you can see, it's quite bright. Okay, and I feel like we need some blue on this side, so I'm going to use peacock blue and go ahead and make a start on this sort of towel that's hanging over. So I'm going to do every other stripe in peacock blue. So I'm just using light pressure for this so we can see how it's going to look. And then I think we'll mix it with some purple. So I'm going to use UBE purple and do a light coat on the other sections and see how it's looking. Okay, that looks quite nice. So we'll add some shade to that. So we'll use royal purple to shade the UBE. So for the top one, I'm just going to add a little bit of a shadow on the top edge. And then we'll darken up these edge pieces and lift the pressure as you come down. And then we'll do the same over here. And again, lift the pressure. So I'll go back in with UBE and fill in the rest of that properly using normal pressure. Then we'll use ultramarine blue and add some shadow to the top sections of the blue ones. And then again, just lift the pressure as you come in. Then going back in with peacock blue, I'm going to fill that in. Going back in with jasmine yellow, I'm going to go ahead and fill in these stars on this little blanket here. So I'm just going to use normal pressure and fill these in. Then taking fruit punch, I'm going to go ahead and do a base coat on the actual background of the blanket. So I'm just going to use light pressure, go ahead and fill this in. Then taking plum purple, we're going to add some shade. So I'm going to darken up here underneath where the candles sit in. And the same over here. And then just lift the pressure as you come away. Then going in with pink macaroon, I'm going to fill in the rest of this so that it doesn't get any darker. So I'll just use normal pressure here. Go ahead and fill this in. Then taking turquoise, I'm going to go ahead and fill in this outside edge. Then going in with our Posca pen, what I'm going to do is go around the flame. So just hide the black lines on the flame itself. But I'm not going to hide the wick because that would be black anyway. So I'll do the same for all three. And then I'm going to hide these black lines coming away. So just go over them with the Posca pen. And then I'll just add a little highlight to each of the candles. Okay, you guys, so that's our first 4 done. So I'm going to leave this video here and we will carry on in our next video. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and I'll see you guys in the next video.